Let's finish up our discussion of distribution channels. This is part 3. If you have not seen part 1 and 2, I would recommend going to see those first because, yeah, it will help understand what's going on here. So we're going to talk about the functions of distribution channels, wholesaling, and retailing. The functions of distribution channels, well, the first thing is they reduce the number of transactions. Transactions are expensive, they cost money. Manufacturers are not as good at consumer sales. An existing or other channel is better. So yes, you will find that manufacturers are not good at locating and selling to the end customer. So we'll do some detail on that. The second thing, facilitate the flow of goods. They sort, they accumulate, they bulk break. And again, we'll talk about the details here in a minute. And the third thing they do is perform necessary functions: transactional, logistical, and facilitating. So let's talk about what all those are. So the functions of a distribution channel, the first one we said was reduce transactions. So what we have is we have two different types of markets here. This one, there is no intermediary, no marketing intermediary. So we have food producers up here. We have the farmer 1, farmer 2, farmer 3, farmer 4, farmer 5. And down here we have restaurants 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And if each restaurant had to contact each of these entities to buy food from them, you would have down here 4 restaurants times 5 food producers equals 20 transactions. So yes, this very small little network here would require 20 transactions. But with a marketing intermediary like Cisco, you have this restaurant can go here and get all of the supplies they need from one point. So here in the bottom, Cisco sells food from F1 through F5 to the 4 restaurants. The transactions equal 4 restaurants plus 5 producers equal 9 transactions. So we've cut the number of transactions to less than half of the direct contact method. So yes, this makes an efficient market. Number 2, facilitate the flow of goods in 3 ways. So the first one is sorting out. We separate a heterogeneous supply of products into homogeneous product categories or qualities. What does that mean? Well, let's do the example first. A coffee distributor receives beans from multiple farms. They're going to be different sizes, different qualities, and all that. So they're going to sort those out, organic, decaf, all that stuff. And they sell those sorted out beans through different distribution paths. Okay, so this helps to match the supplier with the buyer needs, and it assumes and it ensures that the right product goes to the right market. It helps in pricing, labeling, and inventory control. The next one is accumulating, which is where a company will bring together small supplies from multiple sources to build a large saleable quantity. It helps with economies of scales. It satisfies large volume buyers who do not want to like buy a little bit of something here, a little bit of something there, and pull it together themselves. And in doing this, it maintains a steady supply. So the example is a cheese wholesaler. They buy small lots from many different local farms, and then they sell those. They compile them together, and they sell large quantities to grocery chains. Allocating is also called bulk breaking, and you take large quantities of a supply and you break it into smaller, more usable lots, or you customize the mix of products for different customers. So what this does is it tailors offerings to retailer needs. It reduces inventory burden for small resellers who can't buy huge lots, and it also simplifies logistics for manufacturers. So for example, you buy a train car of sodium hydroxide and you break it into 1 liter bottles. So you take tens of thousands of liters and you break it into liter bottles for home use, and you label it, and so for like drain cleaner. Without these 3 functions, it would be like 400 years ago when cottage industries were supplying all the products. Everything was customized because you bought it from different houses. Yeah, we would have a much lower level of consumption and quality. So the third thing is perform necessary functions: transactional, logistical, and facilitating. These increase the efficiency of the channel, or we wouldn't do these. It's economic efficiency. And these are required functions, so if they are not done by the intermediaries, then they have to be done by the manufacturer. The first one we mentioned was facilitating. So that is researching, finding customers, advertising, financing, all that type of stuff. The next one is transactional, and that means contacting customers, promoting stuff, selling stuff, negotiating prices with customers, taking risks. So that means owning inventory, having inventory along the route, whatever. And the third one is logistical. That means storing inventory and sorting out per number 2 above up here. And accumulation, so bringing stuff together. Allocation, that's also from number 2 up here. And assortment and physical distribution. So yes. Let's talk about wholesaling and types of wholesalers. Wholesalers are channel members that buy finished products from manufacturers and they sell them to retailers. Manufacturers that use intensive distribution often rely on wholesalers. So like Wrigley's Gum, Kellogg's, and Colgate. So manufacturer to wholesaler to the retailer to the customer. You're probably never going to buy your toothpaste from a wholesaler or your gum from a wholesaler. So yeah, this is a very typical for that type of item. So there are different types of wholesalers. The first one is a merchant wholesaler, and this is a repeat from an earlier video. They buy things from manufacturer, they take title and they resell them to businesses, government agencies, other wholesalers, etc. They can provide full or limited service depending on what's needed. They can supply credit. They can do research, whatever has to be done. So they're a little more flexible. Then there's limited service merchant wholesalers. So the first one is cash and carry. They sell small numbers of fast-moving goods for cash. So my example is Sam's Club, the business division. The next one is drop shippers. So they don't carry or handle the product. They take the order and they forward it to the manufacturer who ships the product to the end customer. Wayfair Furniture is an example of this. So yeah, the person takes the order, gets the address, all that type of stuff. Then they send that on to the manufacturer and the manufacturer sends it directly to the customer. So these people are pretty much the sales arm, the organization arm to connect the customer to the manufacturer. And then again, the manufacturer ships directly to the customer. Okay, producers co-op. They accumulate products, Sun-Made, Sun-Kissed. They go around to farms. They buy up large lots of stuff. They consolidate them, put them into packaging and sell them. So maybe it's raisins. They may go out and buy grapes and have them dried and then package them and do the branding and all that stuff. Rack jobbers, they deliver and set up store displays. Potato chips are a good example. They bring in their merchandise and they stock the shelves on the store. They keep track of inventory. They do all the work that the store would normally do. Jobbers keep title and charge only for what's sold. So it's a consignment type arrangement. And then truck wholesalers, they sell and deliver while on rounds, bread, milk, and so on. They're just going around and they drop off and pick up as needed. Wholesale intermediaries. Agents is a repeat. Salespeople who represent manufacturers are independents. They're not employees of the manufacturer. They do not take title of the merchandise. Brokers, again, this is a repeat from earlier. Salespeople who bring buyers and sellers together. They get commissions. They don't take title of the merchandise, real estate, stocks and bonds, and so on. The new one here is manufacturers rep. They represent non-competing manufacturers and they function as independent sales agents. They're not employees. They get paid commission, maybe a bonus only. They don't take title. An example is a friend of a friend was a manufacturer's rep for aerospace parts. And what he would do is he would accumulate all these different parts from different manufacturers, because a lot of times they just manufacture like one little thing. It's a stainless steel valve or something like that. And he brings all this stuff together into a catalog at the time. And then he would sell those. Edge Electronics is another example. They do electronic stuff like that. Let's shift gears and talk about retailing. The first is non-store retailing. So that's when most of the revenue comes from other than in-person store sales. This includes things that you've heard of before, like direct selling through Amway, Herbalife, and Nu Skin. The direct response marketing, so these are things like infomercials and 800 numbers. You'll see the late night ads where it says, but wait, there's more. Yeah, those are direct response. Email marketing, where you're sent an email and you say, hey, if you order now, you get a special something. Grammarly and these other companies, they sell digital products via email. Nike, Apple, and Sephora offer specials via email. Home shopping networks, QVC, HSN, and Shop HQ. Yeah, those are just dedicated TV channels to buy stuff from. Internet retailing, Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Warby Parker, Casper, and Glossier. So yes, I'm sure you've heard at least some of those. Network selling, MLMs, and we discussed that in another video, and vending machines, soft drinks and snacks, and of course we know what those are. Then there is in-store retailing, and most revenue comes from in-person store sales. That includes internet. So yeah, this was previously catalog stores. And in the old days, you would literally go to a small brick and mortar store and they would have catalogs laying across the counter and you would order there. Convenience stores, 7-Eleven is an example. Department store, Walmart, Target, Kohl's, and the other many stores. Discount store, Costco, Dollar General, Dollar Tree. We all know what those are. Factory outlets, they sell B-grade products, things that have minor defects in them. Maybe you can take it home, fix it yourself, or you don't care about it. Hypermart, they try to sell just about everything. Food, clothes, you name it, they sell it. Off-price retailer, high volume, low price, TJX, and Ross stores. Specialty stores, movies are considered specialty stores. So when you go out to see a movie at the movie theater, that's a specialty store. And supermarkets, obviously Kroger, Aldi, and all the others. So in-store retailing, some of the important things to keep in mind: creating ambiance, the way the store looks. The image is all about promotion. So that's how you present the store. The merchandise mix, what do you have in the store that you're selling? The service level, how good are the people? How knowledgeable are they? And the atmosphere. So atmosphere definition is store's physical layout and decor. And note here that the bathrooms need to match the store's ambiance. That's a mistake a lot of places make. So I really like this storefront. It's really a beautiful storefront, and you know, it screams high class. Very, very nice layout. The biggest factors are things like the employee type and density. And an employee type is an employee characteristics. You know, how educated are they? How well trained are they in the products? How well do they deal with the customers, and so on. The density, the number of employees per square selling space, is important. A higher, how should we say, a higher service level says a higher class product, a higher class store. And so higher density, more people, more salespeople. Yeah, I mean, how many times do you walk into a discount store and you can't find anybody to wait on you? So this is the opposite of that. The more people, the higher class, the lower class stores are less employees and you have trouble finding somebody. So for an exclusive image, you want more employees and you want them better trained. Merchandise type and density. So the type of merchandise and display, density is often in dollars per square area. Now this is kind of the opposite. When you have a more exclusive store, your density is lower, your product density is lower typically. A jewelry store, you will not have, I mean, they just don't have like a pile of rings and bracelets and whatever sitting there. They're all displayed individually in their boxes and so forth. Fixture type and density, it should fit the store's image. That's the goal. I worked in a jewelry store in college as one of my many jobs, and the owner had a very high-end store, and it was a beautiful place. Wood fixtures and, you know, big glass and all that stuff. But he decided he wanted to make more money, and so he started to bring in, you know, chromium showcases and lower end products and so forth, and yeah, damaged his image and did not have a good result. Sounds, okay, sounds can be pleasant or unpleasant for a customer. So how many times have we gone to a restaurant and we want to talk to somebody, you know, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and the music's just too loud. You just can't hear. And so there's several times in a restaurant I've asked people, you know, can you cut the music down? Especially in a high-end restaurant, you know, it should not be so loud that you can't talk nicely to other people without shouting. So is it loud? Is it soft? Is it too repetitive? Things like that. And odors. Well, odors can stimulate or discourage sales. The bathroom odors, neighboring shops, the kitchen, if you're in a restaurant and you know you have nice odors coming out of the kitchen, that's a good thing. Let's connect two things that are normally not connected. And it's going to seem a little strange at first, but bear with me. Remember this diagram we did? We had all these farmers and all these restaurants, and by having an intermediary here, we could reduce the number of transactions and make things more efficient. Okay, so let's look at the way money works. And see this diagram? Very similar to this one up here. If we had no money and each of us had to go and do work for each of the things we needed, say, you know, we go spend an hour in a restaurant to earn our food, or maybe go work on a farm an hour a day, and then we had to go help build a house in order to earn our rent or our house. Or next would be clothes. We have to go work an hour a day at a shop selling clothes, making clothes, something, in order to earn our clothes. And on it goes with transportation. And then healthcare, maybe we had to volunteer at a hospital or something in order to get our healthcare. So you can see that this would be very inefficient. I mean, traveling between each of these things every day or every few days or whatever it was, and the level of expertise would be low. I mean, you know, how many people have expertise in all the things you need in life? So yeah, money allows us to be one person. We work one job that we have expertise in. We get the money, and then we can buy food, house, clothes, transportation, healthcare, and all the other stuff we need. So, I mean, this way, each household would have to trade work with each supplier. So you'd have 4 households, 5 suppliers. There'd be 20 transactions. In reality, this would be huge. I mean, this would be really huge. But with money, every household works one job, at least in theory, and uses that money to buy from suppliers. It allows specialization of each person, so that's more efficient. There's less time lost in transportation going to these different places, just greater overall economic efficiency. Okay, so just to tie those things together. Well, that's the end of distribution. Okay, let's move on to the next topic.